Good evening.
Evening.
This is James. My name is Jeff.
Stephen.
Whatever.
For short.
We was gonna let everybody know that being as cold as it is right now, that what we stock as far we done heat tape last week, I think. This week we're gonna let you know what we stock on Taylor wood stoves for your water stove if you have one, and you can come here and get your material.
Taylor.
This, as you can see, these are the water stoves we stock. We don't stock the stove. We don't stock the stove itself. We stock accessories that we're fixing to go over, and we can get the stoves. We're a registered dealer. Now, what we want to do is show people what we have. Okay, what we have is what the chemical. Thank you, Jay.
You're welcome, Stephen.
We have Taylor Chemical. It's made by Taylor. You can see it, Taylor Chem 2 right here. And 1 quart of this chemical treats 200 gallons of water. The T450 stove, like I've got at my house, it holds 300. James, how many does it hold?
T450 does not see it.
Yes, and it's right here. It's capacity 312 gallons. All right, so you put one of these in, you're gonna be left with 112 gallons. Is really not treated. So you really want to buy 2 quarts of this stuff. Stuff's about $35 a quart. I know it's expensive, but you need it. You need to do it clean once a year. Okay.
Will
So
prolong the life of your wood stove.
Exactly. We've got the chemical, James.
Thank you, Stephen.
Now, also you'll notice on the front of your water stove, if you ever need it, if it ever goes bad, we have the temperature gauge, which is on the front of your stove. If it ever cracks, if it ever does whatever, won't read anymore. This one's reading
Or steamed up.
80. I don't know why it's on 80, but maybe it's supposed to be. Screw your other one out, screw this one in, you've got your gauge replaced. So we do stock temperature gauge. Okay,
Stephen.
now one of the most important things on a stove or replacement part on a stove is your blower fan, your fan blower, your little squirrel cage blower. Now this mounts on the front of the stove, and it's got a couple wires going here, and anytime it's got an aquastat on the stove. Anytime the temperature gets down to a certain, whatever you got the aquastat set on, probably 150 degrees. Once it get down to 150, Mr. Fan here kicks on. Mr. Fan gets the flames going and all that other stuff, gets temperature back up to 180 or whatever you got it set at. Mr. Fan cuts off. You don't have Mr. Fan on there.
It's just a hot box.
Exactly. You really don't have anything if you don't have Mr. Fan on there. So we do have the fans in stock. Thank you, James.
You're welcome, Stephen.
Now, one of our next items,
Vinyl tubing.
it's vinyl tubing, but it's really a sight glass. What this does, it fits on top of the pressure gauge, with temperature gauge, and you got a little thing right there that fits on top of that. I know this because I got one of these stoves, so I know how they work.
Goes right here.
It goes right there. Anyway, it shows the amount of water that you have in your stove. So therefore, when your water level gets low, you can go to the back of the stove and fill it back up, because you do not want to go dry, because then you'll have no heat. You have no heat, have no hot water, you won't have any heat. So, sight glass, very important. Now, also very important is what they call gasket material, and Taylor on their stoves have got gasket material around the inside. You open the door up, when you open the door up, you got gasket material on the inside. This is what helps seal, helps keep the heat in. Okay, so after a couple of years, you'll need to replace this gasket material to keep your heat in. The way you do that, it's got rivets, little pop rivets. You use just a simple rivet gun, rivet them in there.
Take a drill to drill out the old rivets.
Yeah, drill out the old rivets. That's correct, Jay.
Thank you.
Actually, it's not stringy like this. I don't know what's going on, but anyway. And then you cut whatever you need for the top, cut what you need for the side, the bottom, and the other side, and you rivet it back on, and you replace the gasket. Now, also, you have your cleaning material here that we keep in stock. This cleans out the holes in the back of the water stove with the heat. When you build the fire, the heat goes through the holes. It's got to go through the holes and come up through the rectangular part where it doesn't heat. So what you do is what I normally do is get a piece of pipe. James, if you can screw that reducer coupling on there with that nipple in it, and
1/2 by 1/4 coupling, 1/4 by 1.5 inch nipple.
right. Then you want to screw this scraper. They call this a flue scraper on here. You screw it on here just like so, and you tighten it up with a pipe wrench. We're not going to do all that right now. Then you go into where your holes are at, and you start jamming and cleaning and jamming and cleaning. I have had to get a board with a sledgehammer and do it, but this will get the creosote out of the holes, clean the holes out. Once you get the holes clean, unscrew this.
And the nipple.
No, leave, oh yeah, and the nipple. Okay.
Sorry, didn't know my own strength.
Then you screw the brush on here like so, and this gets the remaining residue out of the holes in the back of the stove, and therefore gives you clean holes so your fire can come through evenly and heat. So we have those in stock also. We stock a variety of stuff, as you can see. Now, it's round brush right here. Now, your rectangular scraper, put the nipple back in. And you screw your rectangular scraper on.
Or flat scraper.
Or flat scraper, whatever you want to call it. And then there's a flat flue runs through there where you can see all the way through. You run this all the way through the other side, come back, and you clean it out. Okay, so we have that also. Now, when you get through with that, you hang it up in a prominent place. Okay, now, through with that. Now, one more thing you want to do, we keep the anode rods in stock for the wood stoves, which is very important. The anode rod collects calcium deposits, minerals and stuff that attract to this to keep them out of your water supply. James, why are you over there? Anyway, when you clean it, when you do all this maintenance, the cleaner and stuff, and you do that once a year, you want to always replace your anode rod. This is a magnesium anode rod. You want to replace it, be in the back of the stove, screwed in. It's going to look like a plug, and you're going to take a pipe wrench or a pair of channel locks. It's going to look like a plug like this, and you're going to unscrew it, and you're going to pull it out. You're going to take a new one, you're going to put it back in and screw it back in, and you're going to put your chemical in, you're going to fill the stove back up, and then you're through. So basically what we're trying to say here is we've got everything that you need to clean your water stove and maintain your water stove for a nice warm winter. And was that all, James?
That is all, Stephen.
Water Stoves 101.